Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Thank God we're back to daytime streaming. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 514. It is Friday and we are back with normal streaming time. I'm very, very, very happy to be back doing the daytime thing. Doing everything that I need to do during the day, kids, housework, all that shit, and then trying to stream at night. It's ugh. So I'm glad to be back doing it during the day. If you didn't see my Twitter or you don't have Twitter, Beat the Blind Girl is going to be alternating between daytime and evening. Thursdays, it's going to be during the day from 1:30 to about 3:30. And then on Fridays, it's going to be at night um, at 11, just so that I can give different demographics a chance to catch the show. So that starts on this coming Thursday. So make sure you keep an eye on that. Um, let's see, other programming notes. Are there any other program? Oh yes, Star Trek stream tomorrow. Again, we are covering 2 episodes of Picard. We're covering episodes 2 and 3. And then next week we'll be covering episodes 4 and 5, and that will catch us up to the when the episodes are released. So that is what's going to happen. I've also figured out how to configure a virtual device so that I can play more than just my voice through my microphone or through my computer. So I will now try to come up with like patron or like fans only like movie nights, or try to host like a watch party or something in Discord. Hey, Dr. Functional. Um and so we'll be doing all of that fun stuff. So there will be more content and more perks for paid subscribers and patrons and all that, now that I've figured out the virtual device. So let's get into some stories, shall we? I've got a few different kinds of stories to cover, and I think we'll have a fairly good stream. I do apologize for my voice. It is slowly coming back, but I am still a bit squeaky. So I do apologize if I end up what's it called? If I end up squeaking at you, I do apologize. So let's see. We've got some. What's this? Apple working on iPhone subscription service. Isn't there already a subscription service? There's already subscription. I'm confused. Let's read this. All right. Oh, I missed the share button. There it is. Yes, share screen. Okay. Oh, fuck off. It wants me to allow sharing. Are you serious? Screen recording. Allow the apps below to record the contents of your screen. Oh. Double click to approve. Talius Mac minute. Double click to approve. 12:06 p.m. in 1 second. Sorry, guys. I don't know why it is doing this. Oh, I have to quit and reopen. I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. I know what happened. So this is a fresh install of Chrome, and I didn't realize that I had not allowed the permission the I had not given permission for the screen to share. So sorry about that, guys. I'm so pissed. I even had everything like I had everything open and ready. This is annoying. Even when I try to be ready and prepared, I'm fuck it up. Okay. Let's try this again, shall we? Let's try this again with the Apple iPhone subscription. Okay, let's get this properly shared. There we go. Share button, please. Yes, there we go. Okay, here we go. Hello, Addie. Cue elevator. Cue the elevator music. Glad to have you all here. Glad to have you all here. Okay, let's take a look at this article. So this is from the Financial Post. Let's see. Apple working on iPhone subscription service, but they already have that. It's called the Apple One subscription. You can bundle your whatever things you want in it. Okay, let's see what this is talking about. The iPhone is Apple's biggest source of sales, generating nearly 192 billion US dollars last year. Holy shit. That is a lot of money. More than half the company's revenue. So, Apple Incorporated is working on a subscription service for the iPhone and other hardware products, a move that could make device ownership similar to paying a monthly app fee. According to people familiar with the matter, what does this mean? The service would be Apple's biggest push yet into automatically recurring sales, allowing users to subscribe to hardware for the first time rather than just digital services. But the project is still in development, said the people who asked not to be named because the initiative has not yet been announced. Oh, so instead of buying your device outright, you are paying like yeah, you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah. So you're paying a subscription fee for your device. That I don't know. That makes no sense to me. Apple's shares claimed to a session high after Bloomberg reported after the news Thursday and closed at up 2.3% at 174 US dollars, though the stock is down still 2% for the year. That's pretty crazy. Oh, let's see. Apple has now posted its 8 straight days of increases. Its longest streak since November. Adopting hardware subscriptions, akin to an auto leasing program, would be a major strategy shift for a company that has generally sold devices at full cost outright, sometimes through installments or with carrier subsidies, but it could help Apple generate more revenue and it could help users stomach spending thousands of dollars on new devices. Yeah, but would you have to like would it be like an auto leasing program where if you lease a car, because there's a difference between financing a car and leasing a car, right? When you finance a car, after you pay that bitch off, it's yours. Okay. If you lease a car, after your lease term is up, you give that bitch back, right? So would this be a leasing program or would this be a financing program? That is a big difference. That is a very big difference. Hello, Costin. Yeah, that's a oh, excuse me for the hiccup. That is a very, very large difference whether you are making people lease hardware or finance hardware. Um, because if you're gonna make me finance or lease my fucking shit, guess who's gonna deal with fucking Android and Google Talkback? That would be me. Let's see. Um, already the I oh wait, already the iPhone is Apple's biggest source of sales, generating nearly $192 billion in US last year, more than half the company's revenue. A spokeswoman for Cupertino, California based Apple declined to comment on Apple's plans. The idea is to make the process of buying an iPhone or iPad on par with paying for iCloud storage or paying for Apple subscription for each month. Apple plans on allowing wait, is planning on letting customers subscribe to hardware with the same Apple ID and account they use to buy apps and subscriptions today. So what? You'd get the device, sign in with your ID, and then the monthly charge for the device would be billed to your iTunes account every month? Like, again, if this is a financing thing, fine. Okay. If it's a leasing thing, not fine. I'm I am not okay with leasing anything. The program would differ from an installment program in that the monthly charge wouldn't be the price of the device split across 12 or 24 months. Rather, it would be a yet to be determined monthly fee depending on what device the user chooses. Huh. Okay. The company has discussed allowing users of the program to swap out their devices for new models when fresh hardware comes out. Okay. It historically releases new versions of its major devices, including the iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch, once a year. Yes. Apple has been working on the subscription program for several months, but the project was recently put on the back burner in an effort to launch a buy now, pay later service more quickly. Bloomberg reported last year that the company has been working on a buy now, pay later service for all Apple Pay transactions. Okay, like I said, I would have to see what they're uh like going to call this. I didn't know iTunes was still a thing. Yep. Yep. When you look on the computer though now, like if you have a Mac, it's just called Music now. It's not called iTunes anymore. I don't know what it looks like on Windows, but on Mac it's just called Music. And there's a separate TV app now. Like you used to go into iTunes to do everything, music, movies, everything. Now there's two apps. There's a music app and a TV app. So, the company has had preliminary discussions internally about attaching the hardware subscription program to its Apple One bundles and Apple Care technical support bundles. Yeah, okay. The subscriptions would likely be managed through a user's Apple account on their devices through the App Store and on the company's website. It would likely also be an option on checkout online on Apple Store and at physical Apple Store locations. All right. Now, what about credit? Apple accounts are typically tied to a user's credit or debit card. So this would not have anything to do with your credit, really. The iPhone maker would not be the first company to push hardware subscriptions. Peloton Interactive Incorporated recently started testing a subscription service that lets users lease fitness equipment and content for starting as low as $16 US a month. Yeah, I was looking like just to as curious at the Peloton stuff, and they're so expensive. But if you look at their payment plans in Canadian dollars, it's like I think depending on what fitness bundle you get, it's like 30 or $40 a month for the bike, the weights, and the like all just the weights and then all the content, the fitness content. Louis Rossman talks about the dirty stuff that Apple does. Yes, he sure does. And the right to repair stuff. The how much they fight right to repair or third party repair shops. Yeah, there are pros and cons to Apple, just like there are pros and cons to Windows and Google. So it's yeah. Where's the other story here that I wanted to read? Okay, we're gonna read this. It's a couple days old, but we're still gonna read this. All right. Where are we here? I need to get to the share button again. There's the share button. All right. So this came from on Wednesday. Louis Rossman is in support of a right to repair bill in state governance. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's what happened to my iPod. The battery expanded and pooped the screen out. To fix it was an insane cost. Yeah. Like my iPad is the iPad Air 2, and I have a feeling that it is not going to be supported come like after September. Um I'm honestly can like really thinking about like factory resetting my old laptop, my because I'm getting a new phone. So I'm thinking of factory resetting the MacBook, the iPhone 11, um, and taking it to the Apple store and trading it in. Like I'm not going to get the full amount for a new iPad, but at least like I'll get over half the money for a new iPad and just like pay end up paying like 150 or $200 for a new iPad cuz I have a feeling that this iPad that I have is not going to be supported much longer and it gets fucking hot. Like that like I'm surprised it has not melted on the inside yet and it gets hot just on stupidly simple tasks. So, yeah. John Deere is another track or John Deere Tractors is another company that discourages third-party repair. I didn't know that. Remember how they deliberately slowed down older models? Actually, I didn't know that Wikipedia snippet, but that doesn't surprise me. Um, that is very shady though to like actually slow down the older model of tractor so that a farmer has to if he wants to keep production going um buy a new tractor. That's shitty. I don't agree with that. I think that's very shitty. Okay. Oh, did I share this already? Shit. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. Shut up, stomach. Okay. Oh, you were talking about iPhones. Yeah, they did slow down deliberate. They also killed the battery life on the older models too. Wikipedia snippet. They not only slowed down the iPhone, the user interface, but they also um killed the battery so that you basically had to charge your phone 2 or 3 times a day because the phone's battery just wouldn't stay charged. Yeah. Oh, it's all good, Wiki. It's all good. So this story. Wisconsin school told parents they must earn the right to know their children's sexual identity. Uh no. That no. That's not no, that's not how that works. Where is the head of this? Let's close that. Where's the thing? A school district in Eau Claire, Wisconsin has made the news after leaked documents showed parents were told parents must earn the right to learn the sexual identity of their children. What does that even mean? I don't even know what that sentence means. The chutzpah these people have, right? And this is why I switched to Samsung. Yeah, and this, like, if Samsung was, it was like, and I hear it's getting more and more accessible, but I don't know if it's as accessible as Apple. Let's see. The school also pushed a heterosexual privilege checklist, according to Fox News. What the fuck is a heterosexual privilege checklist? I'm very confused. I This is crazy. Okay. Some parents and educators didn't like the district pushed for gender nonconformity accommodations. The actions of the Eau Claire Area School District are not only dangerous for the mental, emotional, and physical health of its students, but they also violate the constitutional rights of their parents on how they want to live their life and raise their children. Yes, very true. Remember, parents are not entitled to know their kids' identities. That knowledge must be learned or earned. Sorry. A training slideshow for the Eau Claire District School told staff. Wow. That's unfortunately, even Samsung is starting to fall, and I'm a lifetime user. Oh yeah, yeah, honey. I'm really hoping your new phone is at least a little bit better than yours right now. I hope that you're able to do a bit more editing with your new phone. I really hope so. Do, 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 do. The reasoning was because some transgender, non-binary, and or non-conforming or gender non-conforming students are not open at home for reasons that may include safety concerns or lack of acceptance. School personnel should discuss the situation with the students first before schools should personnel should speak with the student first before discussing the student's gender nonconformity before discussing it with the student's family. But some parents were unhappy. Parents in Eau Claire need to use every legal means to fight back, including request for documents under the Wisconsin Freedom of Information Act. Requests for access to curriculum and teacher training tools under the this is hard. Um, request for access to curriculum and teacher training materials under the Protection and Equal Rights Amendment and litigation to protect their equal rights. Let's see. This is insane. Eau Claire Area School District CASD responded to a Fox News digital request for comment, clarifying clarifying their motivations. I can speak, I swear. And future plans for the LGBTQ support programs. Data shows that students who identify as part of the QAI plus community, Jesus Christ, or the LGBTQIA plus community experience mental health challenges and feel isolated at a much higher rate than their peers. Yeah, well, okay, but you know what else doesn't help that is when they're dealing with more other mental health issues and they're told they're trans. Sorry, based on the results from a Wisconsin study that basically covered high school students, about 70% are saying that they feel like lost and like they don't belong, and only 40% feel like they have a sense of belonging, which is not necessarily a gender thing. That's a mental health thing. That's a teenager thing. That's There's a lot of reasons that would make you feel like you just ugh, it I don't know. This is Let's see. The checklist of obtained by Fox News Digital went on to assert that these statements were evidence of a sexuality-based social privilege that should be acknowledged by students and staff. Fuck you. As a gender-based social privilege? That's insane. Teenagers feel lost? Imagine my shock, right? Like, this has nothing to do with gender dysphoria. Why are people so quick to diagnose a teenager with gender dysphoria? Like, oh, it's so frustrating. Um, let's see. It's just I don't understand why they do this. Why they think it's okay to confuse the fuck out of these kids who are already feeling confused because they're teenagers. They're trying to figure out who they are. Like, even without the gender and sexuality portion of it, teenagehood is where you're trying to figure out who you are. And to add all of these social justicey things in, it's making things worse for teenagers. It's making them more depressed. It's making them more anxious. It's not helping, and it needs to stop. It's really bad for our teenagers that we're focusing so much on things that we didn't even know fully until we were in our late 20s. And I don't know why we're in such a hurry to push young, like 13, 14, 15, 16 year olds into these life changing and life altering uh, surgeries, treatments. It's scary. It's very scary. And the amount of doctors that are okay with giving a child that is not through puberty yet a hormone treatment, um, that's even more scary. I don't I don't know. I don't think that's okay. Let's see. Where are we? Where's my DM with myself? Because I had one and it's missing now. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Here we go. So here we've got a couple of science-y articles, and we've also got a couple more like world news type of thing. Okay, let's see. Where are they here? We have that one. Oh, it looks like we have more science-y stuff than I thought. That's fine though, because science stuff is good. But this one we're going to read first, because this is the article that I based the title of the stream after. Where the title of the stream, where it says "Play Stupid Games," that's where I got the title from, because this person that we're about to read about, it's something incredibly stupid. And there is one thing between supporting people that you care about and the movement that they are doing, and then there's let's empty my life savings and give it to the people that I'm supporting. And apparently, that's what this story here is about. It is about a man who gave his entire life savings to the Freedom Convoy uh, fundraisers, I guess. And he ended up not only losing his life savings, but apparently he also lost his home. Now, I'm still trying to figure out my life, says Alwyn, right? Kids and teens are stupid. Yep. Well, my theory still stands. I still believe that these Gen X parents still want their kids to be their friends, or these young teenagers to be their friends rather than their kids. Yep. Yep. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Don't forget to do a little bit of French speaking or you won't get the Canadian content, lol. 10 people who empty their life savings tend to be formed for having a manic episode. Yeah. So this says, I regret going. Protesters says he spent life savings to support Freedom Convoy. Tabarnak! You spent your life savings. Mon Dieu. There's my French. No stance on vaccine mandates, but used own money to help protesters, man says. That, my friend, was your fault. I have nothing left. Alberta man says he regrets joining the convoy to Ottawa. Well, if you didn't have any stance on vaccine mandates, why would you give away all of your life savings? Now is the guy real or did they make the protester up? Well, let's read on and find out. A protester who joined the so-called Freedom Convoy, which occupied downtown Ottawa for much of February, says he regrets taking part after he lost his savings of $13,000 and his home for donating to something he didn't really have a stance on. First of all, never, ever, ever, ever donate your entire life savings to anything that you believe in, right? Because you need that money. Like, even if, say, I donated to, I don't know, we'll say a school, like a guide dog school, or let's say there was a GoFundMe for like a class action lawsuit against, one of the schools for the blind that was in Canada, and they were soliciting donations from the community, for attorney's fees, right? I would never, no matter how much I believed in something, especially if I didn't have a stance on something, would I put almost all of my money into something. This sounds like a him problem. Yes, Elowen. No, functional. I completely believe that this is real. I completely believe this is real. I believe that there are people this dumb. I really do. I full-heartedly believe that there are people that are this stupid. Okay? We've seen it. We've covered people this stupid on stream. We've like people will blindly follow movements. This is why I don't follow movements, right? When even when I was when Pincalo was showing me some of the stuff that was going on the late night TikTok lives with Pat King and all that shit, right? Movements they can start as pure as the driven snow, and they will always, always, always get corrupted. Always. This is why I don't support movements. Oh. No, he says, or let's see here. I regret going, says Martin Joseph Englehart, who spoke to CBC News from Zoom via Hope, BC. Englehart said he has nothing left after spending his life savings on gas and food for the occupiers who disrupted Ottawa's downtown core for more than 3 weeks. So this says he did spend his life savings. So they didn't block his account. He spent his money on gas money, giving truckers gas money and food money and shit. Okay, let's see. I started delivering fuel and picking up laundry, everything for the truckers. From January 28th to February 14th, bank statements provided to CBC show Englehart transferred thousands of dollars and spent thousands more at a gas station near which road? Near Coventry. Okay. Where he says he was stationed. Englehart is currently living out of his SUV as he said his landlord kicked him out over his point of view concerning the protest. That's illegal. You can sue him. That's illegal. And the fact that you're just not seeking legal aid, okay, it's your fault that you spent all of your goddamn money on this. It's your fault that you admitted that you didn't even have an actual stance on this shit. You just wanted to do something and believe and be part of something. You admitted in this article that you didn't even have a fucking stance on this shit. So you were just blindingly following a movement so that you could say you were part of something. And then now you're letting your landlord walk all over you. This is a you problem, dude. I do not feel sorry for you. I speak for anyone when I say what an idiot. But the government didn't steal his money, functional. He hasn't said that his account was blocked. This was him literally spending money. He is not saying that his accounts were blocked. He spent the money. Oh, it is frozen. Okay. Englehart says he's unable to access his account because it remains frozen. more than more than 250 accounts linked to people and businesses involved in convoy protests after the Emergencies Act was invoked. Okay, so here's the thing: the government should the Emergencies Act extended the power that the CRA has to freeze accounts to the government, which I don't agree with. But before this guy's accounts got frozen, he was dumb enough to pour tons of his money into something that he admits he didn't even believe in. That's all. They did block his accounts, but I mean, like, so this is where we've got the government being wrong, right, for extending the power that the Canada Revenue Agency has to block accounts. Okay, but we also have this guy being a moron in supporting something that he admits that he didn't have a stance on. So we've got an asshole government and an idiot in this story. This is what we have here. Okay. I don't know. This is I'm sitting in the middle here. I'm saying the government is the government is absolutely, like, I don't think that these people like Pat King, Tamara Lynch, and Chris Berber completely co-opted this movement, completely turned this movement into, like, just absolute bullshit. Because at the beginning, like, I was very much, okay, yeah, these guys are protesting mandates and shit. But like the yeah, right. You are like the government isn't this is like Pincalo says, it's a moot point. Because the accounts should, and if his account is still frozen, um he needs to be doing something. This is the problem. Like, we still have we still have recourse to fight, right? And the problem is that people are not doing that. They're letting the government walk on them, which is like, go like, and also sue the fuck out of your landlord. Get legal aid and sue the fuck out of your landlord, because there was nothing in the Emergencies Act about landlords fucking evicting you because of your stance on something. There was none of that in the Emergencies Act. And even if it had been in the Emergencies Act, I guarantee you could find a constitutional lawyer to help you. Pincalo, yes. And even if he had spent a quarter of his savings on his actions, if he didn't have a contingency plan to replenish his savings, that's a him problem. Yes. Government shouldn't have been seizing accounts because of people's viewpoints. However, you need to have contingency plans if you're going to empty your savings account. You know what I mean? Like, this is bad on both sides here. He did it dumb, okay? And the government is the government is being the fucking government that we are all fucking used to and that we hate and that we want gone, right? This is a bad, like, this is a no-win situation here. You know what I mean? Like, this is nobody comes out looking good or smart or clean on this story. So, here we have a story about a couple of European MPs, European Union MPs, completely roasting Justin Trudeau um, over his handling of the Freedom Convoy on the back of his holier than thou speeches about Russia and civil rights and democracy. So, we're going to take a look at this here. Let's see. No, he does have a right to the money he didn't spend. You are right. Like I said, this is like the government needs to give him back access to the money that's still there, and but he also shouldn't have emptied, like, he shouldn't have wasted all his money without a contingency plan. Like, he closed his web developing business. Why would you do that? Like I said, yeah, you're right. Like, the government shouldn't be allowed to take his money. You're right. Like, that. This is what I said. This is bad on both sides. European MPs denounce Trudeau's handling of convoy protests after surreal speech in Brussels. So, Trudeau apparently, I guess he was supremely self-unaware, of course, in his speeches, because he never is. Oh no, I know you're not. I know you're not. Like I said, I'm of the opinion that this is bad on both sides. He's got buyer's remorse, and the government needs to give him back access to the rest of his money. He also needs to take action against the landlord that sued him, or that evicted him, because that is not legal. That regard, like, anywhere, that's not okay. That's not legal, and he needs to find an attorney, at least a legal aid attorney, to help him with that, because absolutely he should not have been evicted. 2 European members of parliament launched blistering attacks on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, accusing the Canadian leader of violating the rights of Freedom Convoy protesters, which he did. Let's see. We're not going to listen to his speech, but during his speech to the European Parliament in Brussels on Wednesday, Trudeau called on aid, or for aid, to Ukraine, and brought up the protest over vaccine mandates that took over downtown Ottawa for 3 weeks earlier in the year. Why would you be dumb enough to bring that up? First of all, fucking protesters coming to tell you that you have fucked up is not the same thing as a country invading another country. So why would you even bring up the Freedom Convoy at all? That is really stupid. As much as I agree with these guys, I don't care what a European politician has to say on this issue. I'm with you, Costin, but it is funny to see other people from other countries call them out. In their follow-ups, 2 members of parliament denounced the prime minister's handling of the protests with angry diatribes. In a speech that has gone viral, MVP Mislav Kolakusic of Croatia, who has compared vaccine mandates to murder. Okay, no. I'm against vaccine mandates, but no, they are not anywhere close to the same thing as murder. Um, I'm sorry, that's hyperbolic. Yes, he was. He sure was, Costin. Like, I am absolutely against people having mandates put on them for like their like that they're not murder. Like, I'm sorry, having your kids' childhood vaccinations as a requirement for school attendance is not the same as child murder. Okay, it it. Ugh, ugh. Um, Set to defend our rights and the rights of our children, which we have acquired over the centuries. Many of us, including myself, are willing to risk our freedom and own lives. However, he said Canada has gone from a symbol of the modern world to a symbol of civil rights violation from under Trudeau's quasi-liberal boot. I would agree with that. Like I said, I would agree with his sentiment, but some of the things that he's saying are a bit hyperbolic. He continued, "We watched how you trampled women with horses, how you blocked bank accounts of single parents so they can't even pay for their children's education and medicine. They can't pay their utilities, mortgages for their home. To you, these may be liberal policies, but to the rest of the world, these are civil rights violations of the worst kind." Kolakusic ended his speech with a warning that citizens of the world um, can stop a regime that wants to destroy the freedom of its citizens, whether with bombs or with pharmaceutical products. Like I said, that's again another hyperbolic statement, but I agree with his sentiment. Kolakusic, a Croatian lawyer, sits in parliament as an independent. In January, he lambasted French President Emmanuel Macron over vaccine mandates when he was before the EU. In that exchange, Kolakusic compared vaccine mandates to capital punishment. Yeah, I don't think I would agree with that. The attacks against Trudeau continued when German MP Christine Anderson, MEP, sorry, took the floor. A prime minister who openly admires a Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy should not be allowed to speak in this house at all, she said. God damn. Damn. Way to go, Christine Anderson. She ended her speech by telling Trudeau he was a disgrace for any democracy and please spare us your presence. Ouch. Anderson is a member of the Alternative for Germany, a popular far-right party who opposes the European Union as well as immigration to Germany. A video of both speeches have garnered over 1 million views each on Twitter as of Thursday afternoon. Trudeau has been criticized for invoking emergency powers to disperse protests in Ottawa for weeks starting in February. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association challenged it in court, saying that the invocation to remove protesters was invalid. Yep. What? Do we have both videos? Let's see.
Poštovane kolege, dragi građani, premijeru
it's in
Trudeau.
Croatian, damn it.
Sloboda, pravo izbora, pravo na život i zdravlje, pravo na rad za mnoge od nas, to su temeljna ljudska prava.
That sucks. Okay, so we're going to move on to the sciencey stuff now. That's why so many descendants of the Holocaust and the USSR are so outspoken about what's going on in the West. Yep. Right? And that's from a German. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. That was insane. That's wow. Okay. So let's take a look here. Okay. So this is a very cool article. I was just browsing the Google News stuff, and I came across this thing. The speed of sound on Mars. They've actually calculated it. They've figured it out. They have figured it out. This is really cool. So, scientists have confirmed the speed of sound on Mars using equipment on the Perseverance rover to study the red planet's atmosphere, which is very different from ours. Yeah, no shit. Different two Earths. Yeah. This is really cool. Okay. What they discovered could have some strange consequences for communication between future Martians. Findings suggest that trying to talk in Mars's atmosphere might produce a weird effect since higher pitched sounds seem to travel higher than bass notes. Weird. So higher pitched sounds would travel faster than bass pitched sounds. Weird. Not that we'd try since Mars's atmosphere is unbreathable, but it's certainly fun to think about. Let's see here. It keeps refreshing. What they discovered, From a science perspective, the findings announced at the 53rd Lunar and Planetary Science Conference by planetary scientists at the Los Alamos Laboratory. Stop refreshing. Sorry, from a science perspective, the findings announced at the 53rd Lunar. Okay, they reveal that high temperature fluctuations at the surface of Mars warrant further investigation. The speed of sound is not a universal constant. It can change depending on the density and temperature through which the medium it travels. The denser the medium, the faster it goes. So, let's see here. Stop refreshing. God damn you. That's why sound travels about 343 meters or 1,125 feet per second in our atmosphere at 20 degrees Celsius, but also at 1,400 meters per second. But at 20 degrees, but also at 1,480 meters per second in water and at 5,100 meters per second in steel. Okay. Mars' atmosphere is a lot more tenuous than Earth's. Mars's atmosphere is a lot more tenuous than Earth's, about 0.020 kilograms slash m or per meter. Per meters cubed, compared to about 1.2 kilograms per meters cubed for Earth. That alone means that sound will propagate differently on the red planet. But the layer of the atmosphere that's just above the surface, known as the planetary boundary layer, has added complications. During the day, the warming of the surface generates convective updrafts, creating turbulence. Conventional instruments for testing surface thermal gradients are highly accurate, but can suffer from various interference effects. This is really cool. Where is it here? Where are we? It just moved me here. Hear the sounds of in a laser that can trigger a perfectly timed noise. A supercam microphone was included to record acoustic pressure fluctuations from the rover's laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy instrument as it breaks down samples of the Martian instrument. This came with an excellent benefit, as it turns out. Chide and his team measured the time from when the laser fired and the sound reaching the supercam microphone at 2.1 meters altitude to measure the sound at the surface, or the speed of sound at the surface. The speed of sound retrieved by this technique is computed over the entire acoustic propagation path, which goes from the ground to the height of the microphone, the researchers wrote in their conference paper. Therefore, at any given wavelength, this convoluted by variations of temperature, wind speed, and direction along this path. The results back up predictions made using what we know of the Martian atmosphere. This is really cool, confirming that sounds propagate through the atmosphere near the surface at nearly 240 meters per second. However, the quirk of Mars's shifting soundscape is something completely out of norm. Where is it here? However, the quirk of Mars's shifting soundscape is completely out of the blue, with conditions on Mars leading to a quirk not seen anywhere else. Due to the unique properties of the carbon dioxide molecules at low pressure, Mars is the only terrestrial planet atmosphere in the solar system experiencing a change in the speed of sound right in the middle of the audible bandwidth, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. The researchers write, at frequencies above 240 hertz, the collision-activated vibrational modes of carbon dioxide molecules do not have enough time to relax or return to their original state. The result of this is that sound travels at about 10 meters per second faster at higher frequencies than it does at low ones. This could lead to what researchers call a unique listening experience on Mars, with higher pitched sounds arriving to the listener sooner than lower ones. Weird. That's just weird. I'm just trying to imagine a a whistle versus a thunderclap. Like the whistle would get to you so much faster than the thunderclap. And I wonder what would happen if you saw lightning on Mars, and how long would it take a thunderclap to reach because of the speed of sound? Given that any human astronauts traveling to Mars at any time soon would need to be wearing pressurized suits with comms equipment or living in a pressurized habitat modules, this is unlikely to pose an immediate problem, but it could be a fun concept for science fiction writers to tinker with. That's pretty cool. That's really cool that we're starting to figure this stuff out. All right, one more sciencey thing, and then we will end here. Or not sciencey thing. It's kind of like a gossip thing, but I figured we would take a look at it. I figured it would be good to look at. Okay. Here we go. So, this is a story about a former Goop boss. Now, for those of you who forgot what Goop was, that's Gwyneth Paltrow's company. A former Goop boss just called out Gwyneth Paltrow's company for its toxic wellness culture. The diet culture took a toll. And this was dropped an hour ago. Like I found it right before I went live. So, Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness company Goop is being called out by a former employee for pushing unhealthy diet patterns. Elise Lohman, the former chief communications officer for the brand, took to Instagram to open up about how the nature of the company ended up being toxic and led to her having body image issues. Lohman, who resigned from the role in October 2020, says the famous Goop cleanse is who says the famous Goop cleanses that subscribers and Paltrow are fans of ultimately distorted her body image. I'm not surprised. I was thinking maybe you should move drinks with friends and a watch party into the same time slot. Yeah. Like, stream to OnlyFans, and if they want to join the Discord to watch the show, they can, but the audio gets piped through or something. Something like that. When I left my job at Goop 2 years ago, I decided to forswear all cleansing. To me, it had become synonymous with dieting and restriction. And it felt like I was in an unhealthy relationship with my body where I was always trying to punish it and bring it under control. Yeah. Yeah. I believe that. Then in her caption, she further described how she changed her lifestyle after she left the company, stating she vowed never to do another cleanse again. In the Netflix docu-series The Goop Lab, viewers follow Paltrow and Lonan as they test out different wellness fads and trends, and they both appear to work closely and have a good relationship. According to Newsweek, when Lonan left Goop to work on writing a book, Paltrow referred to her as a sister and a counterpart in building the business for the last 7 years, and without her, Goop in this iteration wouldn't exist, said Paltrow. She's also one of my favorite writers, and it's time for the world to finally see that with her impending book. Paltrow and the Goop brand have not released a statement addressing the video. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that this woman, like, because Scribe has covered the, yeah. So, when Scribe did a couple of the Goop, like when Scribe was covering some of the Goop Lab stuff on his show, some of that stuff was just absolutely insane. And I'm not surprised at all that this woman felt the way that she felt, that she was punishing her body instead of trying to better her body. Because honestly, Gwyneth Paltrow and the Goop stuff really does feel like that kind of judgy, if you don't do this type of thing, you're a horrible person, you're not clean, like that type of deal. Like, it really comes across like that. And I'm not surprised that this woman felt like she had to leave. It's very, very not a shock. And I hope she's doing better. I really do. Because I just can't imagine feeling that way about my body, like having to punish it. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys had a good time listening. Please remember that starting this coming Thursday, Beat the Blind Girl moves to 1:30 p.m. on Thursdays and 11 p.m. on Fridays. That way I can cover both bases, both time slots. Also, Star Trek stream tomorrow at 5. And I will be doing my first Drinks with Blind Press on the OnlyFans tomorrow night. So come and join that. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. I'll catch you tomorrow for Star Trek. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.